I'm so excited you're here. You pumped? So today we're going to talk about the thing that will take you twice as long to declutter if you don't address it. And that is our emotional attachment to clutter. And if you don't know my backstory, just a little bit of it, I am a reformed hoarder because I am somebody who has an extremely strong attachment to clutter. I can have something that I know that I don't need, I know that we don't use, but it is still so hard for me to get rid of it. And so how did I come up with a home that is somewhat clean, other than, there's always toys on the floor? Well, I took years, first of all, and I little by little dealt with my irrational emotional attachment to clutter. And I'm going to tell you that it's going to take you twice as long, maybe even more, if you don't address the emotions that you have with your stuff. Because to somebody else, it might just look like junk. It might just look like chaos. They don't have those emotional attachments to your stuff. But to you, in your home, where you feel safe, where you feel comfortable, that is your life's possessions. And it is so hard to go through our life's possessions because we have these emotions and these stories and memories attached to everything. And I'm not just talking about sentimental items. Sometimes it's things like, oh yeah, I bought those pants and they were on sale and they're so cool, but I've just never found a good time to wear them, or whatever the case may be. It doesn't always have to be a sentimental thing, but we kind of have these stories attached to everything in our home, and it can be really hard to break those. But I'm going to tell you, it might seem backwards, like you're eager. I know you're here in this community because you're eager for change and you are sick and tired of the chaos and you are ready to make a change. And it can seem backwards to step back and deal with the emotions, because you're like, no, just give me the strategy. Tell me what to do. And that whole focusing on the strategy, that usually works really great to get started. Because I see it all the time, and this isn't just with decluttering. Oh my gosh. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. New Year's rolls around and you have friends who are like, this year I'm finally gonna lose weight. I'm finally gonna get to the gym. I'm finally gonna get out of debt. I'm finally gonna clean up my home. I'm finally gonna spend more time with my kids, or whatever the case may be. We have these goals that we set up, and the traditional way of doing it is I'm done, I am sick of this, I'm gonna change my whole life starting today. And that's great, and we make these 5,000 changes that require so much extra time, but what ends up happening is that we're going really well for a few days, few weeks, maybe if we're lucky a few months, and then we lose motivation. And I feel like if people would, instead of trying to do things all at once, if people would take tiny little steps every day, you would make so much more progress over the span of a year if you took a tiny step every day than if you were to drastically change your life and you give up after a few weeks. There's some statistic that 80% of people give up their New Year's resolution by February. 80%! Just a month later. And that to me tells me that the strategy is not working. We're doing wrong strategies. So when it comes to decluttering your home, I want you to really focus on the emotions, because that's going to be the make or break. We're emotional beings. Clutter is not logical. I don't know anyone who scrolls through Pinterest saving stuff to their dream home board with, the pictures have tons of clutter in them. No, we look at these things that are pretty minimalist, that have one thing on the kitchen counter sort of thing, and maybe a plant over there. No, we love seeing those things that are just these open spaces and they're cleared. That's because clutter is not logical. If it were logical, it would just be like a robot thing that we pick up the things and we get rid of them and we're on our way. And none of us would have any trouble with clutter. I would have never had trouble with clutter if it was logical. But because it's emotional, I struggled with it for years. And I didn't understand because no one was there to tell me like, hey, your emotions are getting in the way of you getting rid of this thing. Because everyone, all of the books and the YouTube videos that I was reading and watching and just reading through people's stories, everyone was talking about the strategy. They were saying, well, I started in this room and then I worked through, or I watch like I love before and after videos. I love drastic changes. I love seeing people make like these huge goals in a short amount of time. But since the majority of people are not reaching the goals that they set, it tells me that that method of doing things is probably not a good one. Yet we all have this idea that that's the only way to do things. The only way to lose weight is to muscle through and to get to the gym 5 days a week for an hour. It doesn't matter if you've been sitting on the couch the last 7 years. Nope, you gotta get to the gym for an hour. And then we give up because it's too hard, as opposed to, well, what if our goal to get in shape was, I think 3 to 4 days a week, I'm just gonna walk around the block. And we start with that, and then we ramp it up. So when we're talking about clutter in our homes, it's not logical, it is emotional. Because it's the stuff, like whether we like it or not, it is our home, it's what we're familiar with, it's what we're comfortable with. I had this situation when we first moved into this home. We had two homes at the moment. Because we had moved from Wyoming to Oklahoma. And when we first moved into this home, we had no furniture. We had an air mattress to sleep on and a pack and play for my oldest, who was 1 at the time. And that was it. We didn't have a TV, we didn't have a table, we didn't have chairs, and I felt really depressed. Because I'm in this new home that was great. We loved it. We're still here. But I'm in this new home that's not surrounded by anything I'm familiar with. And yes, I didn't like all of the clutter, but that's what was familiar to me. So sometimes you can have these emotions that come up that you actually feel like depression when you're getting rid of stuff. Even though you logically know you want to get the stuff out the door, you think that you're gonna have that like, whew, that felt great moment, because that's what everyone's saying, right? You see people on Instagram, or you see your friends on Facebook saying like, oh my gosh, that felt so good. Whew, got 5 boxes out to Goodwill. I feel so much better. And sometimes that happens, but sometimes it doesn't. And that's why it's so important for us to address our emotions, because that's the kind of thing that can stop you dead in your tracks. That you start to declutter and you get rid of stuff, and then you feel that sadness. And if you're not identifying it, you just equate the sadness to getting rid of stuff. Like it's like kind of our primitive brain just like, ooh, I got rid of the stuff and then I didn't feel good, so I don't want to do that again. So then we might come up with all sorts of reasons of like, no, I'm just too tired, or it's too busy, or I'll do it next month, or I'll do it on the weekend. Like we come up with all these excuses to not do it because we've had those bad experiences in the past. But that's why when we're dealing with the emotions surrounding clutter, and we can identify them, that's when we can start to be logical about it, because then we're like, yeah, I did get rid of the stuff and I do feel kind of sad. But do I feel sad because I miss any of the stuff? No, I don't. Okay, I must just feel sad because it's a change. And let me give it a few days. Let me see how I feel in a few days. And then what happens is you get used to it. And you love it. You love your new space. You look back at old pictures and you're like, oh my gosh, that's way worse. I like how it is now. But you have to have like that awareness of your emotions in order to go through like the whole like logical sequence of walking yourself through it, to realize that like, yes, even though you might have that emotional reaction in the first place, you like the benefit in the long run. Now, I'm going to talk to you in a few days. My course, Conquer the Clutter, is going to go on sale. And the reason I think that this is so important, the reason that I made it, is because I feel like everything out there is talking about the strategy. And while I do deal with my strategy of how I get things done when I'm just like, I'm always tired. I'm not the most motivated person in the world. So how do I get those things done? I have that strategy in the course, but I feel like what is the shining, the shining gold spot of the course, the gold star, is the fact that it goes through the emotions. And I feel like that's a perspective that I bring that nobody else has. And that is the benefit of me being a hoarder and working through all of those emotions and taking years to work through those emotions. And my goal is that it doesn't take you years, because we're going to help you identify those emotions and we're going to help you make progress, so that the point, like, you will become so good at decluttering, it will become automatic. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend my life decluttering. I don't want to take a free weekend and declutter. I want it to be something that I can do just as part of my life. And that is how I had set it up for myself, because I didn't want to spend my free time, my weekends, my nights. I didn't want to spend all of that time decluttering. So I did it little by little, slowly but surely, and it made a huge progress. And I'm so excited about this course going on sale, because I think that it can, if you're somebody who has that strong emotional attachment, which you know you have that strong emotional attachment if you tried to declutter before and it hasn't worked. Because decluttering is not that hard. We hear all of the questions of like, do I need it? Do I want it? Do I love it? Do I use it? Like those kind of questions. It's really easy to logically declutter. It's really easy to pick something up and be like, do I use it? Nope. Do I need it? Nope. Get rid of it. Like, it's easy to do that, but there's still something that gets in the way. So if you've had trouble in the past decluttering, this is the course that's going to change everything for you. And I know that it's going to change everything for you, because it changed everything for me. Because so many things I put on the back burner because I was overwhelmed with my home. And so many negative things that were going through my head, telling me again and again and again that I'm lazy, that I'm not worth it, that I'm not productive. Because I would see all of my other friends like take a weekend and declutter their entire home. And I would think, that means there's something wrong with me. Every time I tried other people's methods and it didn't work, I just said, there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. I can't figure it out. And I'm here to tell you, if you feel that way, it is totally hogwash. There is nothing wrong with you. You just haven't gotten to the point where you've learned the thing that works for you, that works for your lifestyle, for your situation, for your family. We're all different. And if we're giving each other this cookie cutter method, it just doesn't work for everyone. And so that's why I feel my course is just so amazing, and it's like my heart and soul that I've poured into there, all of the things that I've learned to be able to break that emotional attachment to clutter, to be able to set a very clear vision that I know what I'm working towards, to be able to keep going when things get tough, and to have like that motivation that it's worth it to do it, even if I don't feel like it. And I want that for you. I know that you're not here just because, I don't know, you like the sound of my voice. Like, I know that you're here because something is telling you that you are meant to do more in your life. Something is telling you that you are sick and tired of the chaos and that you want it to be done with. You want it to be gone. And I'm telling you that this isn't something that you have to deal with for the rest of your life. You can completely change your habits in any area of your life. I know you can do it. I know you're capable of it. And I'm here to help you walk through in a very gentle way and change those habits a little bit at a time, which is life-changing. So often we want to have like these big, huge, before and afters. We love the stories of somebody who lost, 80 pounds in 10 months or something like that. I love it. I'm assuming you love it too. But there are so many people that have goals that they've been saying over and over and over, I'm gonna do this thing, and they just don't get it done. And why is that? And I think it's because they are fed this idea that the only way to do it is to power through, to knuckle through it, and just to get it done. And if you don't spend 3,000 hours a week on it, you're not working hard enough. And I think that's totally bull. You can do it with the time you have, with the resources you have, with the energy you have. You are capable of building a home that works for you, not against you. And so I hope when the course goes on sale, I really hope that you sign up, because I think it could be life-changing for you. And this is one of the best ways that I can help you change your life. And I know you're capable of it. I will talk to you later. Bye.